Hello everyone, today I'm gonna explain the most hardest battle in the league. That's Moira the Spellbreaker. This is a multi-phase boss battle. Comes in 5 different phases and it's become harder and harder after every phase. First, let's take a look what milestones and what breakpoints you have to achieve according to phase her. A fresh 100 character can't face this battle. This is a very end game. Even in shard 1 she is completely dangerous. Types of damage that she does, it's elemental. So fire, cold, lightning. She also does pierce. And she deals bleeding. And ether. Least priority is bleeding, because usually the most hardest bleeding hit comes from Ring of Steel, but you want to avoid that after during the second phase and forward, because that plays the arcane debuff on you, which I'm gonna explain later. According to her resistance shred, it varies. But at the 4th phase, she shred 56% of elemental, pierce, bleeding and ether. So ideally you want 60 over cap. I still not sure how the calculation goes, but usually when I overcap at 60 I'm totally fine. I'm just gonna ignore bleeding. Unfortunately she drops me to around 35-36 during the Veil of Shadow. So, but I cover this with a high regen. Basically I run 2k stable and a lot more when during the procs. Physical resistance, completely unimportant here. She does none. Basically she uses swords and everything's converted to pierce. Maybe there is some physical, but I don't believe so. According to what I check at Grim Tools, maybe I missed something, but it's not priority anyways. Life pool, ideally you want 20k plus at least for the shard 1. I tried to kill her in a lower life, it's a very stressful. I managed to, but I killed her on a 17k warlock, but was a very stressful battle. I took too much damage because my life pool was such a small amount, so I highly recommend 20k plus. She possesses 3100 offensive ability and 3100 defensive ability. So according to crit her, you need at least 3200s. My build is a pretty end game. Actually it's not my build, it's a rank 2 hardcore Olik 22. But this build possesses high offensive ability, so no problem with this. Defensive ability, I have these numbers, but my active defensive ability is actually different, effective defensive ability, because I run Veil of Shadow, which means I have to put another 120. So, sorry about that, my defensive ability is actually 3k and 80, which is fair enough. I barely receive crits from her, and at least you want, if you want to be sure, you have to possess at least 3100, 3150 in case to prevent any. I don't think armor rating here matters. She's for the most part a spellcaster, and after that she deals piercing damage with all the melee abilities. She is a Spellbreaker class, so she possesses some weapon pool skills that usually belongs to Nightblade, which I'm gonna explain later during the fight. Every build use different pharmacy. I go full offensive, I use Dranghu, and I use Blood Funk Oil for a more bleeding duration. Bleeding damage is not that important, but duration is very nice for a kiting class. You can use defensive ones. If you can't match the resistant requirements, you can use ointments. It's personal prep. Tinctures, I use Cursed Tincture for resistant shred. Not much tinctures that you can use defensively, honestly. This doesn't matter. She deals just for the defensive ability part is okay, but apart from that it's completely useless. I shift my augments for this fight so I can meet the requirements for the resistance. Of course I completely neglect bleeding. I don't have a reliable source, so I'm gonna take this risk. There is a high chance I can do this battle at the first try. Sometimes I have to reset. This all depends on the battle. But let's gonna changes that I did to build after the nerf is basically I move some points from Phantasma Armor and some points from Wendigo Totem to max out Circle of Slaughter for a stronger bleeds. I can't utilize the Broken mechanic anymore. I can spam spirits, so this gives me some damage cut in a single target, but usually I'm gonna explain this in another video, how build performs after the nerf. But let's try Moira. I'm gonna explain the fight. I'm gonna pause as well. I don't care about the timer. I'm gonna do this in a short one. So battle's gonna be on a close arena. First phase is a completely warm up. You can even face tank. She can't arcane in the first phase, so I'm gonna apply my stuff. You can avoid the fire projectiles, it's up to you. You can't avoid the Panetis, usually it's very fast. When she says stand still, she spam the Trozans. You can avoid that as well. This is the something that I have to avoid because my bleeding rests completely shred. Okay, recap from the first phase. It's very important to keep your audio on. You can't fight Moira and listen to some music or something like most of the gamers does. This fight, she announced every single of her dangerous moves. So it's good to be aware and listen to her. When she said stand still, she spammed Trozan. At the first phase they are not that dangerous, but at the second phase they become arcane. And they place a nasty debuff on you. Every time she managed to hit you with something purple, she applies a strong debuff that cut your max resistance by 3, your total damage by 18%, your life and energy regen as well, which gonna become the fight even more hard because you're gonna go through your energy bar much quicker. And this is every time she managed to hit you with something purple. And at the fourth phase, the whole arena is purple. There is a several mechanics and stuff. Usually I reset the battle at 3 debuffs. This is explanation for them. This is not the actual debuff. This is just like a hint. But if you got 3 hourglasses here, better reset the fight. Doesn't matter if you play hardcore or softcore. You're gonna be probably dead. There is a few very tanky setups that can survive with 3, 4, 5 debuffs. This one is tanky enough. I killed her with 3 debuffs, but was so close call. I almost lose my character. So overall, this is the first phase. Completely warm up. Let's see the second. It's not necessary to dodge this. I usually stand in one place, just waiting for her to... There is not enough damage that can kill you. because max resistance, she is away, no Veil of Shadows. Especially if you have totem like me, you can just spam the totem, reapply your pneumatic burst. In a second phase, this is the projectiles. She is a dual wield Spellbreaker. She's gonna deal all the... and she's gonna spam this. When she said please, she's gonna summon her Ring of Steel that you want to avoid from now on, because this is gonna be purple and it's gonna strip all of your buffs, and after that it's gonna place the debuff here. Okay, let's continue. It's completely random. Wait for the projectiles. Okay, this was the other mechanic. When she said be quick on your feet, she's gonna activate her bleeding spirits and they spam this purple projectile again. Usually I think at the second phase they are harmless, not completely sure, because usually they're in a purple color. But I saw the projectile already was purple, just avoid it. She spam energy leech as well, as you can see. This is very nasty for me, this is bleeding. And this is the Veil of Shadow. In the second phase, she is very vulnerable to bleeding when she is a dual wielder. I don't know why, but it's like it is. It's very easy to kill her, especially in a bleeding build. As you can see, I just apply 3 attacks and I already cut 5 million of her life bar. Let's continue. She's gonna summon the... As you can see, bleed spirits are now purple. Now you have to avoid, basically. This is arcane. This is third pre-phase. Mechanic contains arcanes. You want to avoid them. You have to move very confident here. Stay away from the spirits, just to be aware. She's gonna be again a Spellbreaker, just this time is gonna be a little bit more hard. You have to watch out for the spirits. This is the Ring of Steel, you don't want to get hit by this. Stay away from the spirits so you can watch. As you can see, quick on your feet, and she activates all of them. Ideally you want to fight at mid, not next to the wall, so you can clearly have a vision around everything and her spirits. A lot of rookie mistake is fight here, and another rookie mistake is fight up here. Always use middle. It's much easier for you to have perception on the field and a proper view. As you can see, this projectile was quite unexpected, but thanks to my positioning, I saw it. In third phase, she gonna randomly spawns in a 30-60 degrees, this kind of boss that's gonna go towards her in a ring progression. This is another mechanic you don't want to be zoned. Watch out, because on a range build like mine, she can spam this in top of me. This is how it works, unfortunately. This mechanic is much more favorable to melee builds because they can see it from a distance. They are close to the boss. But for me, I am just 5-6 feet away and she just spammed this on top of me. And I get arcaned and I get the buff. Okay, fourth phase is where things get really spicy. She's gonna activate these pillars here. It's 4 of them. Now, they're gonna randomly shoot projectiles as well. in a 360-degree again, alongside with these ones, and this is where the battle becomes really hard. And we have to be extremely careful. Fourth phase is where things can end up very bad for me.
Break you, then so be it. You'd better run.
Now she gonna spam everything pre-phase.
Better run.
It's very easy to get arcaned. As you can see, spirits, pillars, everything spams
You'd better run.
arcane next to you. Stand your ground, don't get panicked.
Better run.
Give yourself second or two. Okay. She's a caster now, which makes our task a little bit difficult.
Stand still.
You don't want to fight her next to the pillars. I'm gonna take some distance and drag her a little bit.
On your feet. Stand still.
Random stuff is gonna spawn.
Out. Stand still.
This is my window.
Be quick on your feet. Chill to the bone.
This is another mechanic, chill to the bone. She used this very rarely, but it's gonna spam massive field of cold purple energy, which is another arcane, of course, another chance for debuff.
Stand still.
This is my window to score some damage.
Enough. This ends now.
5 phase. Sorry, pause. 5th phase. There is nothing pre-phase. She's gonna just pick her weapons and come back again. Another tough battle. She's gonna be spellcaster, but she's gonna spawn a clone. That's gonna be a dual wield spellbreaker. This spellbreaker dies pretty quick, but doesn't matter. You have to kill the caster, and you have to do it quick because both of them spam abilities, and both of them extremely dangerous. I execute the fight pretty well, honestly. Not a single debuff. Still have my cluster if things get spicy, and I'll hope for a fast kill here. As you can see, she's gonna come. She's gonna spam the clone.
Wait.
Be careful. This is the field. My target is her. Okay. I apply some damage. I'm gonna pop up cluster offensively. I have to run. One debuff is okay. We're not gonna get panic for one debuff. She's almost dead. Second debuff, this is where probably I'm gonna die. I didn't manage. Oh, that was close call. I didn't pilot very well at the end, but at least I managed to kill her. This is basically the whole fight. It's extremely dangerous, even for a veteran like me. I always mess it up at the last phase. Honestly I use cluster very early. I can save that. But my general idea of the video is to show you all the mechanics, how to execute the battle properly. Unfortunately, I never tried this on melee, so for the melee users, maybe the video is not gonna be that useful, apart from all the mechanics that I explained. But at least I hope it's gonna be useful for the most part. because not much videos about this boss fight, not much videos about the league boss fights in general. I'll try to cover all the bosses, so gonna be much easier for the community to achieve all the points and be a little bit more competitive at the ladder board, because unfortunately only maybe 20 players managed to kill her, even on a short one. Last league was just 16. This league is, I think, around 25, maybe 30 people. And it's better much more players to experience the fight and see how much adrenaline and how hard it is. And I hope this is gonna be helpful to you as well. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.